Good morning, Emmanuel. Today is Sunday, August 30th, 2020, and it is the 13th Sunday after Pentecost. Today's Gospel reading is from the Gospel of Matthew. From that time on, Jesus began to show his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and undergo great suffering at the hands of the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed, and on the third day be raised. And Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him, saying, God forbid it, Lord, this must never happen to you. But he turned and said to Peter, Get behind me, Satan. You are a stumbling block to me, for you are setting your mind not on divine things, but on human things. Then Jesus told his disciples, If any want to become my followers, let them deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. For those who want to save their life will lose it, and those who lose their life for my sake will find it. For what will it profit them if they gain the whole world, but forfeit their life? Or what will they give in return for their life? For the Son of Man is to come with his angels in the glory of his Father, and then he will repay everyone for what has been done. Truly, I tell you, there are some standing here who will not taste death before they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. The Gospel of the Lord. Well, today's Gospel reading is a continuation of last week's Gospel reading. You may recall, if you saw last week's reflection, that Peter is one of my very favorite characters in the Bible. And last week he had a shining moment. Jesus asked the disciples, Who are people saying that I am? And they gave a variety of answers, and then Jesus said, Okay, who do you say that I am? And Peter rightly answered, You are the Messiah, the Son of God. Jesus praised him and told Simon Peter that he would be the foundation of the church. He would build his church on the rock of Peter's faith. And I imagine that Peter was feeling pretty good about things. His teacher just made him a significant promise, and he got the right answer. At the end of last week's reading, Jesus tells the disciples, Don't tell anyone who I am, and they continue on their way. And that brings us to this week's reading. The attention turns toward Jerusalem and the suffering that Jesus was going to endure. Jesus' experience on the cross is not something that has been spoken about. This is actually the first time that they're hearing about the suffering that Jesus is going to go to. And Jesus explains what's going to happen when they get to Jerusalem. And Peter then pulls Jesus aside and says, No, Jesus, God forbid, this just can't happen. And Jesus replies, Get behind me, Satan. And he proceeds to call Peter a stumbling block. It's a sharp contrast to last week, where Peter's told that he's going to play a significant role in the church. As I consider Peter's reaction, I can't help but feel for him. Peter just found out that his beloved teacher and friend was expecting to die, and he just can't accept it. Peter doesn't even want to consider that the loss of the Messiah could be imminent at this point. I think it was a very human response. I was reading this passage, and so many songs kind of kept creeping into my mind. Songs about loss and wanting just a little more time with a loved one, one more day, one more night. Everything from country music to boy bands to classics and current top 40 hits. I think it's because those songs, that's how I understand Peter's emotion in this passage. What Peter wants is a little more time with someone he loves. Peter wants Jesus to forget his ministry and his mission and do something that humans have been fighting to do for thousands of years since the beginning of time. Peter wants Jesus to survive. Jesus scolds Peter and tells him that his mind is on human things, not divine things, and Jesus is not wrong. Peter is thinking of what he wants, what he understands to be the best for Jesus. And it's not the first time Satan, in some form, has tried to persuade Jesus to abandon his calling. Satan tempted him in the desert for 40 days with the same tactic. But as Jesus explains, if any want to become my followers, let them deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. Take up your cross. Lay down your life. What if taking up our cross means laying down everything that we believe to be best for ourselves, to be best for the church or the world? Letting go of expectations and the plans that we've put into place and not concerning ourselves with what anyone else thinks but Jesus. What if it means shifting our focus from human things to divine things? What if taking up our cross means concerning ourselves less with self-preservation and more with radically living into what we believe to be true? What would be different? What would be the same? As tired as we may be of living in unprecedented times, we have an opportunity. It's an opportunity to be transformed, to do things differently, not because something is wrong, but because we have been pushed out of the comfortable place of what we have always done and stepped into the unknown. When I think about this, it gives me the same feeling I get when I'm riding a roller coaster. I'm on the ride, creeping upward, and there are just knots in my stomach, and I am wishing with all that I am that there was one more door, one more chance to leave the line, and also knowing there's no way back, and the only way is through. But that climb, the anticipation, the fear, all of it, it's worth it. For that moment you get to the top and you look out and it's this incredible view. After that, all that's left is to let go and enjoy the ride. My dear friends in Christ, we are on the ride. We can kick and scream and cry and everything else, but we're on it. We're being stretched and feeling the growing pains. But there's only one way, and it's through. It's up to us to decide how we move forward. Are we brave enough to take up our cross and follow Jesus? I pray that the answer is yes. And if it is, take a deep breath, say a prayer, and try to enjoy the ride. Blessings, my friends.